Pick me up at the airport, and I'll come home. My fiancée, Chloe, who hadn't contacted me for a month, finally called, her voice full of demands. When I received Chloe's call, I had just finished finalizing the paperwork for our shared apartment. Over the phone, she was flirting, saying she was tired of her trip and wanted me to pick her up to come back to our place. I smiled and deleted the intimate photos of her and her best friend from my phone. For the past month, I had let her enjoy herself while I underwent my own transformation. While she was foolishly waiting at the airport, my new company's offer was already in hand. The woman who betrayed me would never know how far I could go once I turned my back. Standing in the chilled air of the International Arrivals Hall, I watched the words arrived on the flight information screen, a sneer twisting my lips. Chloe's flight had landed. A month ago, she had linked arms with that so-called best friend, Noah, and turned back at the airport security gate to give me a sweet smile. Ethan, when I get back, we'll start planning the wedding. How did I respond then? I said, okay, have fun. How ridiculous. Now, what I had in my pocket wasn't an engagement ring, but a bank card. The money from selling our shared apartment, every last penny, was in it. My phone vibrated with a text message from Chloe. I've landed, where are you? I didn't reply. The crowd began to pour out of the exit, and I spotted her immediately. She was a bit tanner, wearing a floral dress I hadn't seen before, smiling brightly. Noah followed closely behind her, almost shoulder to shoulder. Ethan. She saw me, waved, and ran over, naturally reaching out to link her arm with mine. I took a step back, avoiding her touch. She froze for a moment, then whined playfully, what's wrong? Are you treating me like a stranger after a month apart? Noah stood behind her, nodding at me, a certain look in his eyes. Was it a triumphant smirk? Did you have fun? I asked, my voice so calm it surprised even myself. It was amazing. Chloe didn't notice my unusual tone and excitedly described the trip. You wouldn't believe it, the places Noah took me were simply beautiful. I interrupted her, where's your luggage? Just this. Noah pushed a suitcase forward. It was my suitcase, the one Chloe had taken from me before she left. I took the suitcase and turned to leave. Hey, wait for me. Chloe hurried after me in her high heels. Why are you in such a rush? Noah said he wanted to treat us to dinner, a welcome dinner. Us? I stopped and looked at her. Chloe finally seemed to sense something amiss. She looked at me cautiously. What's wrong with you? Are you upset because we haven't seen each other for a month? She leaned closer, lowering her voice. Noah and I are just friends, you know that. Friends. What a convenient word. I glanced at Noah, who stood a short distance away, pretending to look at his phone, but his attention was entirely on us. Give me your home address, I said to Noah. I'll drop Chloe's luggage off there. Chloe was stunned. What, my home? Ethan, what do you mean? Noah walked over. Ethan, you've misunderstood. Misunderstood what? I retorted. Misunderstood that you and my fiancé traveled alone for a month? Misunderstood the intimate photos you posted on social media? Or misunderstood that you started sending her messages like, if only I had met you sooner half a year ago? Chloe's face turned pale. You checked my phone? How else would I know my head had become a grazing pasture for sheep? I said. Some people around us slowed their pace, curiously watching our messy public spectacle. Noah tried to maintain composure. This isn't the place to talk, let's get it clear right here. I stared at Chloe. Didn't you want me to pick you up to come home? The question is, who's home? Chloe seemed to realize something, her voice beginning to tremble. Our home, our share. D apartment. Sold it, I said lightly. What? She sounded as if she hadn't heard me clearly. The shared apartment, I sold it, I repeated. The paperwork was finalized 3 days ago. Chloe's face instantly went white. She grabbed my arm. You're joking, right? Just because I went on a trip with a friend, you're punishing me like this? Punishment? I laughed, pulling out a stack of photos from my pocket taken by the private investigator I hired this past month, and handed them to her. Look at your travel souvenirs. The photos scattered on the floor. Embraces on the beach, breakfast together on a hotel balcony, sharing a drink at a night market. All too clear to deny. Whispers rose from the onlookers. Chloe froze in place, and Noah's expression also turned grim. You're stalking us? Noah demanded. Legitimate investigation, I replied. After all, I need to be responsible for my marriage. Chloe finally snapped back to reality, tears instantly streaming down her face. Ethan, listen to me, it's not what you think. I bent down and picked up a picture of her and Noah kissing at sunset, and pressed it into her hand. Keep it as a souvenir, I said. Then I pulled my suitcase and turned to walk towards the exit. Ethan! Chloe screamed behind me. If you leave, we're over. Without looking back, I raised my hand and waved. Stepping out of the airport, a wave of heat washed over me. I didn't look back, but I could hear Chloe's hysterical cries and Noah's soothing voice behind me. What a perfect pair. My phone began vibrating frantically, Chloe's calls coming one after another. I switched it off directly and hailed a taxi. Where to? The driver asked. I gave him the address of the law firm. On the way, I turned my phone back on, ignored Chloe's missed calls, and dialed a number. Mr. David, I'll be there in 15 minutes. Outside the car window, the city was as bustling as ever. I once thought Chloe and I would build a family here, raise children. And now, looking back, it felt ridiculously naive. I should have noticed half a year ago. That's when Chloe started mentioning Noah frequently. Noah got promoted, Noah bought a new car, Noah says this restaurant is great. I was foolish enough to believe it was just a close friendship. It wasn't until 3 months ago that I saw a message from Noah on Chloe's phone. If only I had met you sooner, would life be different? When I confronted her, Chloe laughed at me for overreacting. He's just my best friend, why are you so jealous? I believed her. I even started to doubt if I was being too narrow-minded. Until a month ago, she said she was going on a month-long trip to Thailand with Noah. This is our pre-wedding trip, she said at the time. I'm saying goodbye to single life with my best friend. Didn't you also plan a trip with your buddies? The difference was, I cancelled my trip with my buddies and focused on work to prepare for the wedding. And she, indeed, went with her best friend. The taxi stopped in front of the office building, I paid and got out. Mr. David's office was on the 28th floor, he was already waiting for me. Are all the materials ready? I sat down and cut straight to the chase. Mr. David pushed a folder towards me. The full payment for the shared apartment sale has been received, here's the detailed statement. As for the engagement deposit and wedding preparation expenses, how much can be recovered? I asked. The engagement deposit has transfer records, so recovery is highly likely. Other expenses, like engagement photos and hotel deposits, are more complicated. I nodded. Do your best. There's another issue, Mr. David hesitated. Miss might not easily agree to terminate the engagement. I smiled. She will agree. Leaving the law firm, I turned on my phone, and dozens of unread messages popped up. Chloe's tone shifted from anger to pleading to threats. Ethan, how could you do this to me? Answer the phone. Let's talk this through properly. You really sold the apartment? You're insane. I was wrong, okay? I was just playing around. I still love you. If you don't answer, I'll come to your company. The last one was sent 5 minutes ago. I replied with a message, tomorrow morning at 10, coffee shop. I'll text you the address. Only you are allowed to come. She instantly replied, okay, I'll definitely come alone. I closed the chat and dialed another number. Boss, I need to take tomorrow off. Yes, dealing with some personal matters. There was a moment of silence on the other end. I heard. You sold your shared apartment? News travels fast. I hummed in affirmation. Is it related to Chloe? You'll know after tomorrow, I said. I returned home, now my rented one-bedroom apartment, empty. Everything related to Chloe had been cleared out. Before selling our shared apartment, I had packed all her belongings and sent them to her parents' house. This past month, I accomplished 2 things, sold our shared apartment and hired a private investigator to track Chloe and Noah. Now, it was time to settle accounts. I opened my computer, organizing the photos and reports I had received over the past month. The more I looked, the more ridiculous it seemed. I almost spent my life with this woman. My phone rang again, this time it was my mother, Sarah. I took a deep breath and answered. Mom. Ethan, Chloe's mom just called me, saying you two had a fight? What happened? Did you really sell the apartment? I rubbed my temples. Mom, I'll tell you the details after tomorrow. Just don't answer calls from her family for now. But Chloe cheated, I said directly, with her best friend. I have undeniable proof. Sarah was silent on the other end, then sighed. I knew that Noah wasn't simple. Are you okay? I'm fine, I said truthfully. After hanging up, I stood by the window, looking at the city lights. The future Chloe and I once dreamed of, now I faced it alone. But strangely, I didn't feel sad, only a sense of relief. The next morning at 9:50, I arrived at the coffee shop early. I chose a corner table and ordered 2 coffees. At precisely 10 o'clock, Chloe appeared. Her eyes were red and swollen, clearly from crying all night. But she was carefully dressed in the white dress I had given her. It seemed she planned on playing the emotional card. Ethan. She reached out to hold my hand as soon as she sat down. I withdrew my hand and pushed a coffee towards her. Your coffee. She awkwardly pulled her hand back, and tears began to well up in her eyes again. I know you're angry, but can you please listen to my explanation? Noah and I are really just friends. I cut her off. Do friends kiss? Do friends sleep in the same bed? Her face turned deathly pale. You. How did you? I pulled out a few photos from my bag and pushed them towards her. The top one was of them passionately kissing by a pool. Chloe's hands started to tremble. This is just the angle. We were just. Chloe, I looked at her calmly. I hired a private investigator who followed you for a month. From the first day you arrived in Thailand until you returned yesterday. Do I need to bring out all the photos and reports? She froze completely, her lips trembling, unable to utter a word. I continued, I've already sold our shared apartment, I'm preparing to recover the engagement deposit, and I've sent out cancellation notices for the wedding to all our friends and family. No, you can't do this. She grabbed my wrist, her nails digging in painfully. I love you, Ethan. I was just a little lost before the wedding. I was wrong, I was really wrong. I pulled my hand away. Sign it. I pushed the engagement termination agreement in front of her. No, I won't sign. She shook her head violently. 5 years of our relationship, are you throwing it all away over this? This? I smiled. Then would you be willing to sign an agreement promising never to see Noah alone AF? Ter marriage, and call him right now to tell him you're cutting ties? She froze, her eyes flickering. See, that's what just friends means. I took out my phone, dialed Noah's number, and put it on speakerphone. Ethan? Noah's voice came through, tinged with surprise. Noah, Chloe, and I are together, I said. She says she chooses me and wants to cut ties with you. Did you hear that? There were a few seconds of silence on the other end, then Noah laughed. Ethan, stop deceiving yourself. Chloe loves me. She's just unwilling to give up your 5 years together. I looked at Chloe. Do you want to tell him your choice yourself? Chloe's face was ashen, her lips trembling, unable to say a single word. On the phone, Noah continued, Chloe, tell him the truth. Tell him how happy we were this past month. Tell him you stopped loving him a long time ago. I hung up the phone. It seems your friend doesn't agree with your version of events, I said. Chloe covered her face and began to cry. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I handed her the pen, sign it, and retain some dignity. She looked up with tearful eyes. If I sign it, will you make the photos public? Finally, she got to the point. As long as you sign and forfeit the claim for the engagement deposit and compensation, the photos will not be made public, I said. Otherwise, these photos might appear in your company's and Noah's company's inboxes. She stared at me in horror, as if seeing me for the first time. Yes, the Ethan who used to cater to her every whim was dead. With trembling hands, she signed the agreement. I collected the agreement and stood up to leave. Ethan, she called out to me, her eyes brimming with tears, are we really? Impossible? I looked at her, truly looked at the face I had loved for 5 years, one last time. I wish you and him happiness, I said. As I walked out of the coffee shop, the sunlight was blinding. I took a deep breath, feeling as if a huge burden had been lifted. Ted. My phone vibrated with a text message from Noah, you'll regret this. I smiled and replied, keep an eye on your woman. Though, you two are quite a match. Then I blocked him. 3 days later, as I was confirming the progress of the engagement deposit recovery with Mr. David, a message popped up in the university group chat. Ethan, what's going on with you and Chloe? She made a social media post saying someone set her up, and the accompanying picture looked so gloomy. I clicked on Chloe's social media post and indeed saw a vague update, 5 years of devotion, only to be met with schemes and betrayal. It's hard to know people's true intentions, but I won't be defeated. Below it, there were already over 100 comments, all offering comfort and asking questions. I sneered and closed the social media post. Such petty tricks were not worth my time. But soon, my phone began to be bombarded with inquiries. University classmates, mutual friends, even company colleagues called to ask about the situation. Ethan, I heard you sold your shared apartment? Is what Chloe said true? Aren't you two getting married next month? What happened? Chloe said you cheated and framed her. Is that true? I replied uniformly, I'll explain the situation in a social media post tomorrow. I can't say much now. Mr. David looked at me. Do you want to send a legal notice? No, I said, let her put on a show. Sure enough, that evening Chloe made an even more explicit social media post. Some people are one way to your face and another behind your back, using the most despicable means to destroy a relationship. Thank you to my true friends for being by my side during this time. At Noah, the accompanying picture was a selfie of her and Noah, both holding coffee cups and smiling at the camera. This social media post completely ignited the gossip. Soon, an anonymous source revealed sensitive information in the university group chat. Actually, Ethan cheated and Chloe found out. ETH. And angrily sold their shared apartment and even fabricated photos to slander Chloe and Noah. Noah only stepped forward to help Chloe because he couldn't stand by. Absurdly, most people actually believed it. My university class president messaged me privately, "Ethan, we're all classmates, can't we just talk things through? You're being too harsh on Chloe." I replied, "You'll see tomorrow." That night, I received a call from my mother, Sarah, her voice filled with anxiety. "Ethan, Chloe's mom is going around telling everyone you defrauded me of the engagement deposit, and that she's going to sue you. A lot of relatives are asking me what's going on." "Mom, don't worry, I have evidence," I reassured her. "Everything will be clear tomorrow." After hanging up, I calmly organized all the materials: bank transfer records, the shared apartment sales contract, the private investigator's reports and photos, and even screenshots of Noah's ambiguous messages to Chloe. I drafted a long post, attached photos of some key evidence, and scheduled it for release tomorrow morning at 9, during rush hour. Then I went to bed early, sleeping soundly. The next morning at 8:50, I sat in front of my computer, my phone already on silent. At exactly 9 o'clock, the social media post was successfully sent. The title was simple: Statement the Termination of My with Ms. Chloe. The article was clear and well structured, with a distinct timeline: Chloe and Noah's ambiguous chat records, starting 6 months ago, their decision to travel alone for a month, intimate photos taken during the trip, 3 most incriminating ones selected, proof of shared apartment sale, legal process for engagement deposit recovery. Finally, I wrote, 5 years of a relationship, let's part amicably. But slander and defamation, I will never accept. 10 minutes after it was posted, likes and comments exploded. Those who had previously questioned me quickly deleted their comments and apologized. Comments were overwhelmingly in my support. "Oh my god. Chloe is absolutely shameless. Hang in there, Ethan. That woman isn't worth it. Noah still dares to call himself a best friend? Disgusting." My phone started vibrating wildly, Chloe's number flashing repeatedly. I blocked her directly. Then called from an unknown number, "Ethan, you're a real jerk. If anything happens to Chloe, I'm not done with you." "Mr. Zhao," I said calmly, "you should worry about your own job first." I hung up and logged into a professional social networking site, sending some photos and an explanation to Noah's company's HR email. No company would want an employee with such questionable ethics. After doing all that, I leaned back in my chair and let out a long sigh. I won this battle. But I never expected an even more dramatic turn of events that afternoon. At 2 in the afternoon, I was at work when the front desk called to say someone was looking for me. Walking to the reception area, I froze. It was Sophia, Noah's fiancée. We had met a few times at mutual friends' gatherings. A gentle, quiet girl, engaged to Noah for 3 years, originally planning to marry next year. "Sophia? What are you?" She looked up, her eyes red and swollen, but her gaze was firm. "Ethan, can I talk to you?" I took her to the coffee shop downstairs from my office building. As soon as she sat down, she handed me a USB drive. "These are all the chat records and photos from Noah's computer," she said. "I found them last night and backed up a copy." I looked at her in surprise. "I felt something was wrong for a long time, but I never had proof," Sophia said with a bitter smile. "It wasn't until I saw your social media post that I was certain." She took a deep breath. "Noah and I are over. These materials might be useful to you." I took the USB drive. "Thank you. Are you okay?" She smiled, a more painful expression than a cry. "At least I found out before the wedding, that's better than after." We talked for a while. It turned out that Noah and Chloe's relationship had been going on for nearly a year. The best friend facade was just a cover. "Noah even took Chloe to the shared apartment we were preparing," Sophia said, using the bedsheets I picked out. Her voice was calm, but her fingers were trembling. I didn't know what to say, so I just silently refilled her coffee. As she left, Sophia said, "Ethan, we both deserve better." Watching her walk away, I suddenly realized that I wasn't the only victim in this messy public spectacle. Back in the office, I checked the contents of the USB drive. Just as Sophia said, it contained a complete year's worth of chat records between Noah and Chloe, even more explicit than what the private investigator had uncovered. What was even more interesting were Noah's ambiguous chat records with other women. It seemed Chloe wasn't his only one. As I was looking through them, I received a new message on my phone, sent by Chloe from a new number. "Ethan, let's meet, just the two of us. I have something important to tell you about Noah." I replied, "No need. I wish you happiness." Then I blocked that number too. When I left work, I was stopped downstairs by a stranger. It was Noah, his face grim, clearly having learned about Sophia breaking up with him. "Ethan, are you satisfied? Now I've lost my job, and Sophia is gone," he yelled at me. I looked at him calmly. "These are all your own choices. He suddenly grabbed my collar. Do you believe I'll kill you? The security guards immediately rushed over and pulled him away. I straightened my collar and told him, Noah, you'd be better off spending this time thinking about how to turn your life around. With the security guard's intervention, Noah left, cursing. I looked at his retreating back and suddenly felt pity. Wasting 5 years on such a person, between Chloe and me, who was more pitiful? Back home, I unexpectedly received a call from Sophia. Noah didn't cause you any trouble, did he? She asked. He called me just now, he was very unstable. We met, and the security guards pulled him away, I said. She was silent for a moment. Be careful. I know him, he won't give up easily. After hanging up, I suddenly realized this storm was far from over. Sophia's warning was quickly confirmed. Early the next morning, I received an email from my company's HR, asking me to go to the human department immediately. The HR director pushed a printout across the table, her face serious. Ethan, this was sent anonymously to the company's anonymous reporting email, accusing you of accepting kickbacks using your position. I carefully examined the so-called evidence, which consisted of several crudely photoshopped bank transfer records and chat screenshots. This is fabricated, I said calmly. I can provide all my bank statements to prove my innocence. The HR director nodded. We trust your character, but the process must be followed. Until you provide evidence, the company needs to suspend your duties. Leaving the HR office, I immediately contacted Mr. David. Typical retaliation, Mr. David said. Most likely done by Noah or Chloe. I recalled Sophia's warning and called her. Sophia listened, then paused in silence. This sounds like Noah's tactics. He has a friend who's good at Photoshop and used to help Noah forge expense reports. Can you contact that person? I asked. I'll try, Sophia said. But we need a more thorough counterattack. We arranged to meet that evening to discuss it in detail. That evening, at a quiet cafe, Sophia brought a thick folder. These are all of Noah's misdeeds over the years, she pushed it across. False expense claims, workplace harassment, and even once finding someone to cover for him after a DUI. I looked at her in surprise. You've known all along. I collected these just in case, Sophia said with a bitter smile. I always hoped I wouldn't need to use them. I also shared the evidence I had, the complete chat records and photos of Chloe and Noah, as well as some things Chloe had previously told me about Noah. We can work together, Sophia looked at me, to resolve this issue once and for all. I nodded in agreement. Two betrayed individuals, now allies. Over the next 3 days, we acted separately. Sophia contacted Noah's former colleagues to gather more evidence of workplace misconduct. I, through the private investigator, found out about Noah's new company. He had actually found a job so quickly, as a middle manager in a multinational corporation. Interestingly, the private investigator said over the phone, Noah faked his resume, exaggerating a period of work experience and his educational background. This became our breakthrough. On morning, Sophia and I acted simultaneously. She packaged all the evidence of Noah's misdeeds and sent it to his new company's HR and CEO. I, meanwhile, reported Noah's resume fraud to the relevant regulatory authorities. At the same time, I updated my status on social media. Recently, I was subjected to malicious false accusations, which have been proven baseless. The relevant evidence and information regarding the accusers have been handed over to the police for investigation. The accompanying pictures were a police acceptance receipt, which Mr. David helped me obtain, and proof of my clean bank statements. The effect was immediate. That afternoon, the HR director personally called me to say the investigation was over and I could immediately resume my duties. The company will strengthen the management of the anonymous reporting email to prevent such malicious acts, he said. What happened next was even more dramatic. In the evening, Sophia called excitedly. Noah was fired from his new company. HR even said they're considering pursuing legal action against him. Good news, I said. However, he definitely won't give up easily. Sure enough, that night Noah frantically bombarded both Sophia's and my phones with calls from various numbers. We both chose to reject them. Finally, he sent a text message, "You two are ruthless. But don't think this is over." Sophia replied, "We've already reported you to the police. Be careful." Then we blocked him again. On morning, I was woken by the doorbell. Opening the door, I was surprised to see Chloe. After a month, she looked much more haggard, her eyes red and swollen, her expression panicked. "Ethan, please help me," she sobbed as soon as she entered. "Noah is a lunatic." I poured her a glass of water and calmly asked, "What happened?" It turned out that after losing his job, Noah started drinking heavily. Last night, he got drunk and went to Chloe's place, causing a scene, breaking her belongings, and even hitting her. Chloe pulled up her sleeve, revealing bruises on her arm. He also threatened that if I don't get back with him, he'll ruin my job. Chloe cried. I was wrong, Ethan, I was really wrong. I shouldn't have trusted him. I looked at her in silence. The scene before me was so ironic. A month ago, she betrayed me for Noah, now, she was coming to me for help. You can call the police, I said. No. She shook her head in horror. Noah said if I call the police, he'll make our photos and videos public. I frowned. What videos? Chloe lowered her head, her voice barely audible. Just, during our trip, he secretly filmed some intimate videos. I took a deep breath. This was truly her own doing. I can't help you, I stood up. This is between you two. Ethan. She grabbed my arm. For the sake of our 5 years together. You used to say you'd always protect me. I gently pulled my hand free. That promise became void the moment you slept with Noah. She froze in place, her face deathly pale. Just then, my doorbell rang again. Through the peephole, I saw an unexpected person, Noah. I opened the door, and Noah, drunk, stormed in. Seeing, he became enraged. Bitch. You really came to him. Chloe hid behind me in terror. Ethan, save me. Noah pointed at my nose. Ethan, you're quite something. Stealing my woman and ruining my job. I found it ridiculous. Noah, you were the one who first sabotaged my relationship, and now you're just reaping what you sowed. He suddenly laughed, his smile ferocious. Do you really think you can beat me? I'm telling you, I have all the dirt on Chloe. Not only did she sleep with me, but she also had an affair with her boss. All for that promotion. Chloe screamed, You're lying. Am I lying? Noah pulled out his phone. Shall I call her boss right now to confirm? The scene completely spiraled out of control. Chloe and Noah traded insults in my living room, each revelation more explosive than the last. I watched this messy public spectacle with cold eyes, suddenly feeling incredibly exhausted. Enough, I interrupted them. Take your fight outside, or I'm calling the police. Both instantly fell silent. Noah glared fiercely at Chloe and me, then slammed the door shut and left. Chloe stood rooted to the spot, tears streaming down her face. Now you know everything. I'm completely ruined. Yes, she was ruined. But I felt no satisfaction, only endless sorrow. Go, I told her. You made your bed, now lie in it. She quietly left, her back hunched as if she had aged 10 years. Closing the door, I let out a long sigh. Returning to the office on Monday, I found that my colleagues looked at me with sympathy and support. Clearly, the messy public spectacle involving Chloe and Noah had spread on social media. At lunch, my department manager specifically sat next to me. Ethan, the company has decided to give you a 10% raise as compensation for this baseless false accusation. I was a bit surprised. Thank you for the company's trust. You deserve it, the manager patted my shoulder. By the way, headquarters has a new project requiring someone to go to the US for 6 months. Are you interested? I nodded without hesitation. Absolutely. This was an excellent opportunity to leave this place full of bad memories and start fresh. In the afternoon, as I was organizing project documents, I received an unknown call. When I answered, the caller identified himself as Mr. Robert, Chloe's boss. Mr. Ethan, I apologize for disturbing you. Mr. Robert's tone was serious. I'd like to confirm a few things regarding Chloe. I frowned. Chloe and I have no relationship anymore. I understand, Mr. Roberts said, but this matter relates to an important company decision. Noah sent a letter of accusation to the company this morning, claiming Chloe obtained a promotion through improper means. I sneered, that's between them. The accusation letter mentioned you, Mr. Roberts said. Noah claims you conspired with Chloe to illegally obtain competitors' commercial secrets. This was absolutely preposterous. Noah's madness exceeded my imagination. It's entirely a fabrication, I said. I suggest you report it to the police. After hanging up, I immediately contacted Mr. David. This is defamation, Mr. David said. We can sue Noah. But events unfolded in a way no one expected. The next day, Chloe voluntarily contacted the police, admitting to her improper relationship with her boss but denying the commercial espionage charges. In exchange, she provided evidence of Noah's blackmail and extortion. This dog-eat-dog drama ended with both of them being arrested. I was summoned to the police station as a witness. In the interrogation room, I saw Chloe. She was wearing a prison uniform, looking haggard, but her eyes were unusually calm. I'm sorry, she said, for everything I did. I nodded, saying nothing more. 5 years of a relationship, ending this way, was truly regrettable. Leaving the police station, I unexpectedly ran into Sophia. She was there to provide evidence as a victim of Noah's blackmail and extortion. It's all over, she said, her voice light. We exchanged a smile. Two people rising from the ruins, sharing an unspoken understanding. 1. Tea to grab a drink? I suggested. Sure. That night, we talked a lot at a bar. About betrayal, about rebirth, about the future. I'm planning to go to the US for 6 months, I told her. A new project at headquarters. Sophia's eyes lit up. What a coincidence, I just got an offer from NYU, and classes start next month. We clinked our glasses. To new beginnings. 3 months later, my project in New was progressing smoothly. The fast-paced life here left me with little time to dwell on past troubles. One afternoon, I unexpectedly received a call from Sophia. Guess where I am? New? Yes. And I'm right downstairs from your office. I went downstairs and, sure enough, saw her. She was smiling brightly under the new autumn sun. I'm here for an academic conference, she said. And to catch up with an old friend. We walked along the Hudson, chatting about our new lives. You know, Sophia said, yesterday I got a letter from Chloe. She was sentenced to probation, but she lost her job and is now working as a clerk in a small company in her hometown. I nodded. I had also been following Noah's case. He was given a prison sentence for blackmail and extortion and fabricating evidence. It's all in the past, I said. As the sun set, we stood by the river, watching the Manhattan skyline across the water. This city held countless stories, and ours was just one ordinary tale among them. Are you free next week? Sophia asked. A friend of mine owns a gallery, and there's a good exhibition. I looked at her profile, gilded by the setting sun, and suddenly felt that maybe a new beginning wasn't just about my career. I smiled. I'm looking forward to it. The wind swept across the river, bringing distant sounds. The past was behind us, and the future was just beginning. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you liked this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.